Was good. Uh, Today the markets were kind of shitty. They were choppy and shit. I did not trade. Um, I wanted to talk about having no backup plan, but I also want to talk about overthinking. And I'm gonna see if I can interlap them at all and see if they make sense together. But I'm gonna start with overthinking. They do relate. I'll bring them together. But the thing about overthinking, bro, and a lot of overthinkers, I think, get into trading, and a lot of people overthink in trading. The reason being, there is no certainty in the market, so you can try and find everything to try and make it certain. You can research this, research that, research this. So what's going to help me have the best edge in the market? But at the end of the day, so many edges work. You just have to pick one that makes sense to you and find evidence to back that one up. You don't need to be surfing the entire dictionary or encyclopedia of trading. You need to find what makes the most sense to you and stick to that. Find proof that it works for you. Find proof that makes sense to you. And yeah, it just needs to make sense to you. And a lot of the times, people will go through a billion different strategies just because they don't know which one's best. They want to test them all. And now they have no idea what one works best because they've just gone through a short period of time in all of them. But by making a decisive choice and just learning more from there and deepening your knowledge of that choice you made, the market's able to be read in so many ways. So if you settle down, choose one, and fucking go forward at a high pace with that, deepening your knowledge, I do believe that you will become a consistently profitable trader way quicker than you would testing out everything. There's way too much news, there's way too much data in this world, and they all conflict each other. There's news here, there's news there, they're conflicting. Pay attention to what makes the most sense to you and be decisive and keep moving from there. Overthinking can also tie in with a lot of like what I've heard called fractals, like all these things that these learned behaviors we have as a kid that's not productive for us, such as like the fear of failure. Here's one of mine, like the fear of failure you had instilled in you as a kid by people only like showing you love when you were winning or doing good things, or people that made you feel like you couldn't lose, like you couldn't fail, and or whatever other reason, and that fear instills in you. Now you have this fractal, and it creates uncertainty when you have an idea, a trade idea in the market. There's these fractals that can come in and make you even more uncertain and overthink your edge that you already have that makes sense to you, and then you miss a bunch of profitable trades and trades you would have liked to take, and then you don't know, oh, do I take this trade? Do I take that trade? You got to just learn the market, learn your strategy, learn your discretion, and then have confidence in it, be decisive. You can And then once these fractals like fear of failure, fear of I can't think of any others right now. I don't know why, but any of these fractals, like these fears that were instilled in us as a kid, any of those come in, like the rebellion type of thing motherfuckers have too, and then they rebel against themselves in a way, or rebel against the market, uh, or rebel against their strategy. You gotta just notice these and all you have to do, bro, is press a button to get over these fears, or not press a button, and they will condition you to reduce these fractals that we have had instilled in us as kids. All we gotta do is not push that button. If your fractal's keeping you away, I mean, if your fractal's making you go into the market too much, like you want to prove something, all you have to do is not push the button. If there's a fair failure like mine, or one that keeps you from not going in, All you have to do is press that button when you have that trade idea pop into your mind, bro. I'm sure a lot of us have a good strategy that is consistently profitable. However, I think the psychology behind it and your psychology individually is a big reason on why so many people aren't able to achieve profitability. We got to work through these and become more decisive and not overthink. By doing so, we just have to cut out the overthinking, understand like whether it's the fractal that causes the overthinking, whether it's something else that causes the overthinking, you have to become aware of your overthinking and cut it out so you can just press the button when you need to or not press the button when your intuition and logic is speaking to you. I've moved further away a little bit, but how I want to tie overthinking into having no backup plan is usually overthinking contributes to having a backup plan. If you're not decisive about becoming a trader, then it's probably not going to work out. When you have a backup plan, it's so much easier to fall back and quit because you're like, okay, I have something else waiting for me. And by saying this, I'm not saying don't work a job if you are broke and trying to start becoming a trader, but maybe don't work a job where you see yourself being in the future and forming a career. Work a job where you're like, fuck, like I don't want to be here, but it's giving me money. And that will hopefully motivate you even more in your trading experience outside of working that job. But yeah, you really don't want to have a backup plan. It motivates you when you have one sole direction and you're full charge in that way, you have more motivation, you have more energy to spend on this specific goal of yours, and you're less uncertain about it. You're not overthinking whether or not this is a possibility. You may have doubts here and there. You will have doubts here and there, but you aren't going to be looking to switch up paths, and you're going to build confidence as you instill this, as you put in more energy, as you put in more time, as you put in more effort. Unless you're a complete fucking retard, like you're probably going to be good. You just need to put in this energy, learn, introspect, learn, don't overthink, learn from your direct mistakes, and learn when to not overlearn. That sounds kind of complicated, but we all take losses in the market. Don't overanalyze every loss because that's not learning. That's you should learn not to overanalyze each loss in the market because a lot of times we execute well, and that's all you got to focus on. If you executed your strategy to its perfection and you or not even to its perfection, if you just executed your strategy properly, don't think about, oh, this loss was caused by this and now I can't do this. It doesn't matter. Every every loss, you're gonna have missed something, you know what I mean? It's not nobody's perfect at reading the fucking markets. But if you execute your strategy and it's aligned with your bias at the time, that was a good trade, and there's nothing you should overthink about that. Take the loss as data and as to your strategy. And if your strategy ever falls below like 60%, 55% win rate, then it's probably time to start thinking about changing a strategy. But otherwise, it's just a loss. It's just the L in that data column. It doesn't mean anything if you've back tested your strategy and it's a proven winner. I might have already said everything I wanted to say, but I feel like I need to make this video slightly longer. Um, do I have anything to say? Probably not. Shit. I actually think this video's done, bruh. And I'm not editing this shit either. Peace.